Hello, beautiful people and fellow miners, and welcome to another episode of A Little Something Two, the number two, wine about, because it's two of us, your host, Siobhan Camille.
Okay, that's a new one.
Listen, do you want to say your name or we just, okay.
Oh, Anti-A Michelle.
Oh, it's that, y'all, it's been that kind of week. Tips get real.
It's real right now. Okay?
Real crazy, real funny, real stupid. We're just real, okay? Every week at Wednesday at noon, on your lunch break, on this hump day, because hump.
Hump day.
It is Fourth Wednesday, so this episode is for the culture. And we are still in August, Black Business Month. And so we are going to take this time to discuss the importance of Black business and entrepreneurship. If you've been with us this month, and I hope that you have, we talked to Shoe Crazy Wine ladies a couple weeks ago about, business, family, and all that Black girl business magic. We had Carl Gray with us last week, and he talked about tips to start your business and stuff. And now we just gonna talk, just us. It's just the two,
Just talk about this thing called entrepreneurship
and business, and why it's important in the Black communities,
and why we gotta keep it going, and all the good stuff and all the other stuff that come along with it, because entrepreneurship
is a thing.
It's a thing. It's a big thing. It's as big as the word.
That is a long word with a whole lot of letters. And so grab your glass, to the point, of red, white, rosé, sparkling cider, Pinot d'Agua, as Carl said last week.
Yeah.
And join us on the couch with your friend. Grab a friend and join us on the couch, man.
Yes. Grab your homie, your boo friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your he, she, it, they, us, almost, kind of, sort of, might be a human friend. And join us as we sit here and talk about this wonderful topic. Guys, I hope you are having a better week than I am. It has been crazy. It has been a crazy one for me, to say the least. But I'm making it, life trials, tribulations, and hiccups that happen. But it's all about the comeback, the pivot, as we like to call it here. Or a little something about the pivot, the turn, the switch up. That shows you who you are in these times. So, y'all know we on the Shoe Crazy Wines. Ha! That rhyme. I got bars. We've been on the Shoe Crazy Wine this month. It wasn't planned, but it worked out this way, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been happy about it. Okay, so let's talk about this popping grapes experience before we get into this wonderful topic. We both finally this week have a Shoe Crazy Wine.
As y'all know, it's been impossible to find. They're popular and popping.
And popping, okay, popping grapes, okay, with the double P's, popping grapes, yeah. So they was popping, all that. So Siobhan, let us know, what's your popping grapes experience?
So I have this is making me curious. Oh, I think it's a double label. Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, I have the Sweet Harmony. It's a sweet white wine. Y'all know I like white, so I'm looking forward. Yay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have the.
Yep, I'm waiting for you to say this one.
Okay, hold on.
It's French.
I know.
Nope.
Nope. My.
Nope.
Me, my.
Nope.
They.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well then that don't sound French. That sounds Chinese.
Mélange.
Oh, that's because I'm about to say mélange.
Mélange. Mélange.
Mélange a red wine. Mélange.
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 Am I saying this wrong?
No, you saying it right. I just like saying
Okay, that's
it.
what
So,
keep saying it. Am I saying this wrong? Okay, my French accent is going to improve. I promise. At some point, I don't know when, but at some point it will. Yeah, I turned that really. You said it's French, and I literally went lame.
lame. That's why we said Chinese. I said you're not pronouncing that right at all.
I'm not. Yep, my brain literally was like, and we're stopping.
Mélange. Mélange.
Okay, mélange a red wine. Okay. Oh well, let me pour it. Let's pour it, cause y'all, the struggle with that there cork was real. I'm not even about to show y'all. It was something, and because I trust them so much. Oh, that's a pretty color.
It is.
I'm gonna stop clinging when it's not time to clink.
You're premature clinging.
Yeah, my premature.
So Black business and entrepreneurship, guys. So it's a thing. It's important. Black business is important.
Yes. Okay, I gotta get my mind back right. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a moment there. Yeah. So Black entrepreneurship. Well, entrepreneurship in general is important, no matter what color you are. But since we are speaking of for the culture, specifically for us, it is important because it helps to keep it like when we spoke with Carl, it inspires creativity. It's a stream of wealth that can be gained through this stability, and it's something that we need. We need to see us in places of ownership, in places of leadership, and to be an entrepreneur when you have thought of something and nurtured it, into a business. It means something, and it's worth more than what you think it is, especially in the community and the generations to come. They see it and you inspire them to want to, or inspire them to, maybe they don't see themselves as an entrepreneur, but they can see themselves as a helpmate for that entrepreneur. So that, again, a job is you're supplying jobs for your community. You're creating spaces that are sometimes harder for us to be in. And that's just the way this world is. We did not make it this way, but it is what it is. So because it is what it is, we have to learn how to live in it. And this is one way we can we can really start to have our own say-so in the directions that we want our lives, our family, our legacies to go. So for me, that's why it's important. And I'm not going to hog this episode. As I stated before, I've been in an entrepreneurship role a few times. I have assisted entrepreneurs. I have seen entrepreneurship literally all my life. My father has his own business in HVAC. My grandmothers were professional seamstress. My other grandmother literally had a whole store, like gas station. It was a gas station in South Carolina. She got rid of the gas pumps, and then it was just a store. And then she also sold, and in like it was sectioned off. She had a sewing room in the back. She sewed curtains and seemed like full-blown seamstress inside the store, and the store also had a kitchen. So yes, it was a lot. So seeing that and firsthand the struggles of budgeting, you know, financing and figuring it out, and then seeing the profits from it. I've been on, I've seen it in a lot of different ways. And for me, I feel that's a blessing. I'm fortunate enough to see that, because a lot of us in our community don't get a chance to see it. Or if we see it, we don't fully know what it is or what it took to get there, even in the slightest of environmental situations. So to me, it's important so that we can continue to grow us, our wealth, our legacy. And y'all, we just downright creative, for real. Like for real. So let's get our coins for it. Siobhan, why is it important to you? Let's just start there.
Any type of business and this is what I'll say. First of all, you're gonna have to end up in some form of business at some point, unless you're gonna be like a welfare queen or in jail. Okay, you're gonna end up having to work for somebody. So either you work for somebody else or for the self somebody. It's important because it gives independence. And in a world where dependency is a thing, it's very much encouraged. In a lot of ways, it's required. It does give you the ability to start on your own. I think that Black businesses, it stands as important, not only because it gives that individual independence, but it also builds wealth, as she said, in the community. It's an inspiration to people coming up behind you. And more than that, the thing with me about Black business is that when you go into it, if you go into it correctly, you learn wealth, you learn money. And the truth is, as we said with the ladies of Shoe Crazy Wine, that's not something we're taught in school. Anyone. Very few schools teach money. Mm-hmm. But every bank is willing to hand you a credit card the minute they find out you turn 18, and they are watching. They are hawk watching to make sure, oh, you just turned 18, and mail you a credit card. You don't know what to do with that. You don't even really know what credit is. A lot of the stuff that we are not aware of, I was looking up. For example, I was looking up one of the largest Black-owned bank in One United in the country, and they have a lot of great programs going on. And the one thing that they're doing is trying to help invest in the community. And that's why that's important. It's because of money. There's another one that's a startup right now. I can't think of the name of it, but part of their financial business would also be Black advisors, financial advisors. There are a lot of things that we don't learn till our 30s or 40s, if at all, which automatically puts us behind, and we're not necessarily sharing with our children. That definitely we should. And business, if your child grows up seeing you in business, they're going to learn something, even if it's from nothing else than watching. As Brittany said about her mother, you know, she had seen her go through the corporate world, so she was already introduced to it. You've seen your father have his own business, you were introduced to it. A lot of us don't see that, and a lot of people don't talk about money in the Black community the way that they should. It's like this big secret. I remember asking, my grandfather had been retired by the time I answered this question. But I remember asking him how much he had made when he was with the company that he had been with. And he and my uncle were like, oh no, you don't ask a man that. Now, the irony is they had literally 5 minutes before asked me my weight. I thought you don't ask women their weight. Granted, I was like,
or age.
But you don't ask a girl her weight or age. But if I ask you about your money, like that's a huge issue. And it is something that's personal, and I get that. And it's not something that you necessarily want to broadcast to the world. But the irony of that is there was a Black woman actually who started this. and I do remember the company, but I'm not gonna shout them out. I'm just saying it was a tech company. And she started a spreadsheet and said, everybody plug in your salary. And while there were people who were like, oh, no, I don't want to, and people who were apprehensive and ashamed, either ashamed or because they didn't want to know, whatever reasons people don't want people to know, when more and more people started filling out this spreadsheet, you were seeing the gaps. And 7 people off of this spreadsheet went to their managers and negotiated higher salaries because it holds companies accountable. That's the other reason that I've realized we have to stop being ashamed to talk about money. If you make, let's say you're broke, let's say you are in the poverty, you make 20,000 a year, and you don't want to tell that to your kid. Why? Because they're watching you. So be a motivation, like, listen, I didn't make the best choices and decisions, and now I'm struggling financially at however old, making 25 a year, 25,000. Because please understand that rich people are not hiding their salaries from their children, because they're using that as motivation. I make 5 million, you need to make at least this or do better. It's that. If you're not telling, and also because if your child knows you're a mechanic, but they don't know what you make, and they don't know what the cost of living is, and they have no real concept of what money is, that's why a lot of people keep making the bad decisions financially that they make, and these quote unquote generational curses that people like to talk about financially, because no one has taught them, or they have no concept of, other than the generic lawyer, doctors make money, there's no concept of everybody else. And there are so many other jobs and levels of jobs that can make you money. People look at that, you can have a hairdresser who makes $20 a head versus you also have hairdressers that make 20,000 a head. It depends on your clientele more so to an extent than what you're actually doing. So I think the importance of business to me is to pass on that knowledge of wealth, because if you've built a business, then you are knowledgeable about money and finances and loans and credit and all of these other budgeting and everything else that is important. And more than, I'm not saying racism is not a factor. I'm not saying anti-Blackness is not a factor, because it is. But to me, even more than that is the wealth gap. Because if I keep you poor, then you always have to come to me. It's that whole teach a man to fish versus give a man to fish. If I don't ever teach you how to fish, well, guess who you always have to come to for the fish, which means I can dictate whether you get flounder, salmon, tuna, the good stuff, the bad stuff. I can detect everything you get, because you can't do it yourself. So entrepreneurship and business is important from the stance to me of independence financially, if done well and done right.
Yeah. To that point, when we talk about entrepreneurship, I remember the first time I heard that word, and it was when I saw it on my schedule for high school, and of course the full word wasn't up there. And I actually remember picking the class. And so because I saw my dad, he has his own business. My mom worked for DC government. So I'm like, oh, okay, I want to go. And my dream was to have my own dance studio. And so, one, it was not even that, it was to own a building. And the building was going to have a dance studio on one side and a theater on the other. But it was I had the location. It's going to be downtown DC. I don't know where this building was, whatever, but this was my goal. After I got off tour with different dancing with Janet Jackson, because I was going to be one of her background dancers, that money was going to go to me buying this building. So that was going to lead me into my entrepreneurship. If that didn't work, then I was going to go work for the government, say, do my loans and all of that stuff, and get my building and start my business and hire people, to keep it going, because I'm CEO. Like, y'all do the work. I'm here to oversee. That was my goal. But before that, I was like, well, I know I got to go to school. So when they start asking me my classes, I was like, oh yeah, I want to take They was like, well, what you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to have my own business. So they was like, okay, so you need entrepreneurship. What is that? And the lady was like, you want to own your own business and you don't know what an entrepreneur is? This was my face. What is that? And my dad is like beside me and he's like, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. So that means you have your own business. Oh, okay. Well, then that's what I want to do. Now, mind you, this was 6th, 7th grade. So yeah, I was getting out of 6th grade. So they were like, okay, well, when you get in high school, you want to take entrepreneurship. So I remembered that. The long word, entrepreneurship. Like that's it. I had to memory dyslexia is a thing. So I signed up for it after I finished middle school. I signed up for entrepreneurship 1 and 2, Carl. And I knew being an entrepreneur, money was involved. So I signed up for accounting 1 and 2. I'm glad that I signed up for accounting 1 and 2 because where they actually taught you, the ledger and how to balance your checkbook and X, Y, and Z. I always saw my mom do it, but I was never curious enough to go and inquire what she was doing. I was like, oh, she paying bills. Left it at that. But taking that class opened up a whole new world for me. We learned how to write money orders. I know you guys don't know how to do that nowadays. We learned how to write money orders, how to write checks, and how to deposit a check a physical check into your account. Before direct deposit was a big thing.
Thank God for direct deposit, though, man.
Right. We learned how to send money Western Union, MoneyGram. Those are companies. They're real. I promise.
They still do that for certain rent stuff.
For certain, yeah. But I'm just, letting these people know it wasn't always an app. Fridays, everybody tried to get off work early so they can go to Western Union real quick to pay their bills real quick, like fast, because they wanted to beat the line. Like that was a thing. So I knew accounting was entrepreneurship. Accounting, it goes together. After taking those classes, I never correlated how to put it together. So for me, that was the challenge. And my parents talked to me, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I sounded like they were speaking French, and I knew Italian. Yep. Even with all the classes that I took, I understood the classes, I understood the information I was given. It just didn't connect until later. And the later became when I actually started to do my own little business thing, and that's when it was, and then I realized the things that I like, the things that I don't like. But I also realized how people gave up so easily, me being one of those people, on certain things. But it also made me realize if I'm going to do this, then it has to be something that I'm absolutely driven towards. So it made me say, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to focus. It has to be something I can focus that I really want to do, which is partially a reason why I haven't gone back to school. So, but I say all this to say simply, if you're thinking about true entrepreneurship, it's scary. Because you can get the information, you can grasp the information and still not know what to do with it. You can still deal with those personal feelings of, can I actually do this? Well, I tried this and I failed. I don't want to fail again. It can take a toll on you mentally. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak. And if you can't do it by yourself, I encourage you to get a partner. Someone you can trust, someone who has the same vision as you, someone who can see your vision and help you to have it to come to pass. Get you a Siobhan, get you a Carl. Don't shake your head. I'm not saying get Siobhan.
Don't get you with me, man. Don't get you with me.
Yes, get you.
Get you and me with a better temper then, because I don't.
Okay, that's fine. Get you an accountability person.
There you go. There you go.
For me, that's the Siobhan.
If that's what it's got to be, I'll give you that.
And go for it. And go for it. Don't let fear. I would say don't let fear stop you. But also don't be afraid to succeed, because I found out later on that was one of my fears. Failing wasn't an issue. I failed at so much stuff before that's not the issue. My issue was, if this really works, how are you going to maintain?
My thing is, understand that most businesses fail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to tell people that if you have a delusion that everything is great. The truth is, people only talk about the successful because it's what they want to see. You are constantly, everybody talks about the 1% financially, like, the Facebooks and the Microsofts and the Apples, and everybody always wants to talk about the 1%, the Oprahs, the Beyoncés and Jay-Z's, all the 1% of entertainers and everything else. But understand that life coach standing up there who's like, I did it, you can do it too. But probably not to that scale. And that's just being honest. I mean, even if you just look at YouTube, and I realize that we are on YouTube, so I'm saying this realistically, there's so much competition everywhere because there are so many people, and you may never get 1,000 subscribers. You may never get 1 million followers if people are still, doing that whole thing, and that's their whole goal in life. Your business may never make 1 million. But don't let other people's definition of success stray you either. Figure out what your definition of success is. But also know that you may most don't succeed. And even those who did, 42% of Black businesses closed during COVID,
mm-hmm.
which sucks. And I know people focus on that, and people don't talk about the white businesses that failed either. They quick to say, 42% of Black businesses went down. How many white businesses fail? Oh, we don't want to talk about that either. So,
but not only that, how many Black businesses actually launched because of
COVID? Right. First of all, understand that all of that reporting and numbers and percentages and statistics are heavily, heavily, heavily biased, heavily skewed, and heavily manipulated. And as someone who has always been a fan of math and numbers, please, if you think I'm playing, at me, and I will shut any of it down, any of it. Because get raw data. This is why I don't like when people hand me percentages aside. I don't like when people hand me percentages. Get me the raw data, because the percentage you can manipulate to say whatever you want if you cut out enough of certain groups. If you get that denominator small enough or big enough to where you need it to be to say whatever you want it to say, you can. But it's 1 in 100 women, 10 in 100 women are gold diggers, let's say. You've surveyed 100 women and only 10 are gold diggers? Yeah, but that's 10%. Right, that's not bad. No, we can't say that. Well, okay, let's do this. Of that 100, how many were Asian? 5. How many of the Asians said, okay, no, we'll cut them out? How many were 18 to 24? Cut them out. And people will manipulate that 100 and that 10 until it's well, if you say we got 5 out of 20 did that, that's better. That's a quarter. Run with that. Say a quarter. People manipulate numbers. Okay. That's just aside. But understand that most businesses do fail, but you learn in the process.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid of failure. Even if you're afraid of failure, don't be afraid to learn. Right. Because there are lessons in that failure. And I know that is a cheap thing that people hear. People hear that all the time. And Thomas Edison failed 100 times and such failed 100 times. And people tell you all this before they were uber successful. Because again, they're giving you the 1% of this person failed 100 times and then they were successful. They will tell you, well, J.K. Rowling didn't make her first million until she was 40 something, to give you hope that at 40 something you could be a millionaire. It could happen, but understand that that's still 1%. It's extremely unlikely that you're going to be a millionaire. My uncle, who is a musician, asked me once, and he was like, "What is your goal like financially?" And I was like, I don't know. I was in like high school. I don't want to be broke. Was pretty much fun. And he was like, "Well, we were talking about being entertainers, and at that time, I wanted to be an entertainer. I want to be singing, dancing all over the stage, and have backup dancers and everybody else. But then I also realized like I don't want to be responsible for that many people, so probably not." But he was like, he'd gotten offers to tour with this person and this person and this person in the 70s and 80s that he turned down. He was like, I had a family here and I'm good. And you have to also ask, do you have to be a millionaire? Because there's nothing wrong with being a like solid 100,000 quite frankly. Like your bills are still paid, you're still good, right? Like why do you need a million? Why is 150,000 not good enough? Especially if you consider most people on their own individually will not see that either.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you are going to open a business, and it's been said by all of the guests that we had this month, it has to be something you're passionate about because of that. Because it's going to get hard. It's going to be trials. There's going to be tribulations. There's going to be moments of concern and question and feelings of failure and doubt and times where you may feel like you have an imposter syndrome complex going on, and you have to push past that. There are going to be times when the lights may get turned off or be 2 seconds. You may have 7 people walk out on you and you have to cover their jobs and shifts. Good Lord, allergies. But you have to keep moving. And even if you fail, take the lessons learned. We clearly, as y'all know, we are still for our subscribers who are following us, all of our listeners, we are still humble beginning. It's only been a year and some change, but a lot of things have been learned, man.
Woo.
That would not have been learned otherwise.
In any other way. In any other way. Also, I would say allow yourself grace and space, and I say that a lot. Allow yourself grace and space to learn. Allow yourself grace and space to make those mistakes. Because you'll learn not to do them again, or you learn how to work through them or avoid them, prevent them, whatever the case may be. But we're saying all of this because I have children. Siobhan is raising children. And I have a child who is most likely, and he can go a number of ways, following in the entrepreneurship realm. He's doing things now that follows, okay, this could be a possible place for you. Whereas to when I was growing up, yes, my parents always said, oh yeah, you can have your own business. Absolutely. But if that's what you want to do, then do it. And it was just that. I know a lot of people don't even get that conversation.
Right.
A lot of people, it's go to school, go get a job, X, Y, and Z. Now my parents did preach me go to school thing. It just didn't work out all the way. I didn't finish. So with that knowledge, I now preach to my children work ethic versus go to school, get a degree. Yes, that's an option. Is that something that I asked you to aim for? Absolutely, because in this world today, that dumb-tailed piece of paper means a lot to somebody.
That receipt.
And I'm saying it like that because it's true. That dumb piece of paper means a lot to somebody when it comes to hiring you.
I remember we always used to say in college, like senior year, just get me my receipt, man. Just get me my receipt.
Yeah.
That's all it really is. Like
receipt.
It's just a receipt. Like I went to college, and I'm probably gonna a lot of people off when I say this. It really doesn't teach you much. I will grant you, depending on different majors, and I know people like, oh, you were a dance major, so on. Please don't think that I didn't have the capacity to do anything else. I just didn't have the passion or desire, and I really didn't have the passion and desire to do dance after the first 2 years. I got through junior and senior years solely because I didn't feel like I felt like I started, I should finish. That's really what it came down to. I didn't even want to be there. I didn't really want to be there in the first. My college experience, y'all, I took a lot of people off. I got some stories. But for a lot of us, it was just like, yo, just get me my receipt. And the truth is, most people don't check their transcripts anyway. You could have been the worst in your
job. Ask you, oh, can I see your transcripts? What? None of that.
I've had 2 jobs that I've ever applied for asked to see my transcripts. I've had 2.
The only thing I have been asked for is for my high school diploma.
Nope, I've had 2 ask me for my transcript, and quite honestly, no one's asked for proof of my degree anyway. Like, it's not funny, but I went to an after school program when I was in elementary school, and I came to find out like maybe 10 years later. So sometime when I was in high school, the director got arrested for fraud because she had lied on her resume about her degree. She didn't have it. I think she had a bachelor's or something, but in her degree, like in her resume, she padded it, said she had a master's in like childhood development or something. She kept me from dying when so she was good in my book. I had an allergic reaction to lilacs. That's how I found out I was allergic to lilac. She saved me from dying. So she was good to me. But childhood development, she didn't need a master's. She kept a kid alive. I say that's a win. But I think that was the moment in my life where I was like, people don't check for that. Like as a kid, I just feel like if you're asking if this is a thing, that there's someone who in HR or some department is calling and verifying. You didn't verify because y'all are taking her down 10 plus years after she was the director while I was there. And she had been the director for like 10 plus years before I got there. So it took y'all 20 something years to figure out that she lied about a man. But this is my thing with that too. With her, I was like, well, at this point, she's got like 20 years of hands-on experience. Does she need it? I mean, like whatever she would have learned in 1970 something, would it really have mattered in 1990 something anyway? Like, no.
And that's the other piece to that. Like, okay, you have this expensive receipt that only matters in certain places that they may or may not even verify. And then you go to a job and say, yeah, I have this degree in psychology. And you are going for a job that in cybersecurity. Cool. They don't check. They don't care. They just wanted to know that you had the degree. So you paid enough money you paid for an education. What? Like, so really it's not, so I'm saying this because now I'm preaching to my children. Yes, school should be like, that's your first, this is my role. Now, with my father being HVAC, I also know about trade schools.
College is important. Any school is important if you learn something. If you're not learning something, it doesn't matter. Like
it
doesn't matter whether that's trade school, whether that's elementary school, whether that's high school, whether that's college, whether that's middle school, regardless of the school. Because I knew people in high school that just showed up to pass. Like, if you're not learning anything, it doesn't matter. Our guest, Brittany of Shoe Crazy, please check that out. That was an awesome episode of Shoe Crazy. Flat out admitted that she learned more,
from her mom.
Learn more from her mom and going through real world hands-on experience than she would have in a classroom. And I will tell anybody, especially in college, anything you learn is theoretical. It's all in theory. It's not practical until you do it.
But they tell you that though. Yeah. When you're writing a thesis, it's theoretical. It's a point of view. It's not, so yeah. So, and that's why I tell my kids, no matter what, your work habits are what I'm more concerned with. Yes, you gotta stay on the road because we ain't done. You gotta learn something. However, it's about your work ethic. This is what that time management skill, that organization skill, that ability to work with others. Those are the skills that I'm more concerned with when you're going to school. Yes, I want the grades. Well, you got to bring me the grades. But if you're practicing at all of these skills, then you'll get the grades. And I want you to get the skills because whether you go work for someone or work for yourself, you still have to manage your time.
Yep.
Create a schedule.
Yep.
Now you're talking manage your finances. You
Mhm.
still are managing things. You have to manage your life. So that skill set is to be developed through time. And to me, that's the job of a parent. So that's why no matter what, whichever way you go, I don't care. I want you to be able to think of something, create a plan, and find a way to execute, pass or fail. Find a way to execute, because if you keep doing what you're doing in either direction, you're going to succeed at some point. Now, the level of your success is completely up to you and what you're looking for. But I want them to know, I know it's more than just one way to do this. And that's ultimately the goal. Where in this community, we were all taught,
Get in
go
line.
to school, go to college. First, it was go to school, get your high school diploma. That was like minimum. Graduate high school. You did it. Then it was go to school, graduate high school. Wait a minute, you need a degree. Okay. Now we're seeing, okay, well, I got this degree and I'm working over here, but my degree is here. So I done paid for all this and I'm not doing anything with it. Or I got this degree and I'm doing absolutely nothing with it, but I've created my own business. Or I don't have shit as far as a degree. And I am banging this thing out in success, either in my own business or in the workplace, because of my simple work ethic. So, and my professional skills that I gained through just school.
And even if you're not going to go into entrepreneurship and work for yourself, one of the biggest things that I think Carl said in our episode was selling yourself. Mm-hmm. And I know he's talking about a business perspective, but even Gwen said about Schuhart, when she went for her first corporate job, and she went in, I bet it's accurate with the typewriter. I bet it's accurate though. Like, being able to sell yourself, whether you're working or for yourself or for someone else. And we still come from, the Black community is a very young community in this country, which is a very young country. Like, when you consider the fact that like some of these countries go back to the BC days, and America can't say that. America's a young country, okay? As it looks now, is extremely young. They celebrated the bicentennial within my lifetime, which means y'all ain't been around but so long. If you want to go from the 1492 when he sailed Ocean Blue, but it didn't even get ratified till 1776, it's only 2022. The 1776 was only 300, less than 300 years ago. Really not. Or the bicentennial in 25 or something. I remember just big country celebration. Like, we turned to 100 something when I was alive. But the thing about it is, we are a young community, and we have to understand the history of us being told, get a degree, get this, get in line. Was always still a get in line. And it's a deeper conversation of a lot of the change that are still psychologically and mentally there from slavery that people don't want to talk about. We're going to talk about it one day on this show. Y'all going to be uncomfortable. But it's still that same thing. It comes from the same place of get in line, get in line. Don't be an entrepreneur. We do business. Y'all people don't do business. Get in line. Get this degree or get this, whatever this piece of paper was, because for a long time, if you got a degree at all, the boyfriend's father doesn't have that, because when he was growing up, when our grandparents were growing up, quite honestly, you didn't need a degree in anything. It was, are you willing to work? Especially if you were a man. Are you willing to work? Yes, cool. Get him on a shrimp boat. Get him on a fish boat. Get him on trucking something. Get him a license so that he can drive this thing. And that was about it. And you learned everything in tandem with your job, with whatever you were hired to do. We have to take it to the next level and the next step of entrepreneurship. And I'm so glad when I see so many puzzle businesses or art businesses, or I just read something about a butcher shop in Queens, or all of this stuff. And we also have to be more kind and accepting of ourselves in whatever entrepreneurial avenue we want to take, whether it's one, or it's a butcher shop, or it's this. We have to get over the colonized elitist mindset of what jobs are good, what jobs are bad, what jobs are this, what jobs are that. And there's levels to the job. You only do hair, or you only do nails, or you only do plumbing. No, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer. Oh, your kid does puzzle. No, you don't do, because all of that is important. A puzzle company is important because there are children who want puzzles, who play with puzzles. There are adults, who do puzzles. A doll company is important for representation. Yes, it's important to have somebody at Disney, but it's also important to have somebody like Tyler, whether you like his stuff or not, Tyler Perry, because that's a different story, or Kev on Stage, because that's different stories, or any of the other content creators out there who are telling their stories and doing it genuinely. It's important to have people all over the place. I don't have an issue with having a seat at the table, quote unquote, but understand that you can't, one table is not better than the other.
Right. And as we wrap this up, I'll just say my final thought. My final thought about this is I want us to continue to grow our businesses. I want us to continue to grow in every industry that we decide to enter into, whether it's traditionally Black or not. I want us to continue to grow to those industries where they say, oh, well, wow, Black people don't do this stuff. No, we do. Hello, we're here. That's one. So I want us to continue to grow into not just your traditional food,
Black approved
businesses,
which weren't approved industries for the longest anyway, if we want to get technical. So
right. But I want us to continue to grow in that. But I also want the entire community to start to show grace to one another. Do we know there are some deep-rooted things in shopping Black? Why we don't, why we do, why we should, why some people say we shouldn't. We have to allot grace in these things because we are still, like she said, fairly young in this entrepreneurship-esque realm of things where we could build to create that generational wealth. There have always been small businesses, very small businesses here and there, but we can't grow too much because the political stuff. But because of that, it's more reason for us to show each other grace. Shop Black. Stop being so hard on us. We have to stop being so hard to the point where we put each other down, where we don't leave space for people to grow.
Or constantly expecting a lower price.
Yes, that's part of it. Stop expecting the Black discount handout. Oh, I'm Black, you Black. Oh, hook me up. No, pay for it. One reason.
Why are you willing to pay? I'm gonna just say this. I'm sorry. I really don't mean to, but why are you willing to pay everybody else 4 times what you're willing to pay the Black person next to you? Why?
Yeah, that's part of that deep rootedness. But that's one. But the other part is if you really look at it, they might charge us more, especially like in the hair industry. They'll charge you more. So yes, now I do have to raise my prices. So I need for us to
understand that.
Understanding and say, okay, yep, I understand. Like, oh, that's what this may be. But then on the flip side of that, also, as entrepreneurs, I need for us to be business savvy as our ancestors were. So we got to get smarter. And I'm not saying devalue yourself. No, absolutely not. We've been doing that for way too long already. No. But it's a common ground that has to be met. and where as the entrepreneur, you get what you need, you know, you get your profit and you continue to grow. And as the consumer, you get the quality that you're expecting, and you're giving the grace of they are growing. And that's my final say so. I will say we have been doing a whole lot better, and I can see it and I appreciate it. We have been doing a whole lot better. So I want us to continue down this path of getting better, but continue to, you know, show each other that grace, continue to be more open-minded, continue to push those barriers and, you know, boundaries that have previously been set. You know, continue to be those trailblazers. We've always been that. So let's continue to just do that and do it bigger and better, and in a healthy manner where we are literally building and not just taking care of ourselves, not just being selfish with, oh no, this is mine, but extending it, extending that legacy, extending that wealth, extending it to the next, so that we can continue to grow. Like some of these other communities. I'm sorry, my lashes are shedding.
I'm gonna just say my thoughts are, there are, to the grace point, we have to stop holding ourselves and each other up to high standards that nobody can ever meet. It's and it's something that was put on us because it's something that's unattainable, and the people who put it on us knew it was unattainable. There's this thing like, we're expected to be Black sainthoods, which is the same mentality of when somebody gets murdered. Oh, well, he stole a pack of gum when he was 7 years old. He was 42 when you killed him. Like, what does that have to do? It's that level of sainthood where, oh no, I can't, I'm not buying from her. Oh, I can't, you know, you can't trust Black people. You can't buy from Black people. You can't. A lot of the negativity we say about each other was instilled in us externally. And it's all lies. It's not true. Now, can you trust every Black person standing next to you? No. But can you trust every non-Black person standing next to you? Absolutely not. Can all of them trust each other? No. If you're not clear on that, watch the international news and you will notice this. Okay. The North Koreans can't leave their country. Okay. That's facts. You want to talk about somebody who doesn't, that's their own leader is like, you can't leave this country, I'll kill you, literally. So it's not a matter of, oh, Black people can't get along. Yes, there were Black slave owners, we acknowledge that. Yes, there were Black overseers, we acknowledge that. Yes, there are Uncle Ruckuses for real, for those who watch the Boondocks. In real life, we acknowledge that. If you didn't watch the Boondocks, Sam Jack's character in Django, same person. We understand that. That's not everybody. That's not most people. And if you happen to come across that person that you can't trust for whatever reason, keep it pushing the same way you would with a non-Black person, but don't sit here and be like, oh, you're Black, I'm Black, we're supposed to. It's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. Population-wise, there are 12, sorry, that's a low ball. I was going to say there are 12.5 million of us, but there are more than that. It's like 46.5 million of us in this country. There's no way that 46.5 million of anybody is going to all get along. You can't even get 10 people in a room. You can't get 5 kids in a room that are siblings that all get along at all times. Your kids don't always get along. You and your siblings don't always get along. You and your family members go at it sometimes. Like, let's stop having these unrealistic expectations of each other that breed this resentment and these expectations of you're supposed to do this. Because a lot of the mentality that we have toward each other is something that was externally foisted upon us. The same way that a lot of the internal things we internalize foisted upon us as well, but that's the one for another time. Give us grace and mercy to that. And as we grow, especially in who we are as people and in who we are in business.
What she said, as I struggle to put this half a quart back in here, because I don't want this wine going. It's all right. Darling, can you pass me a wine cork? I mean, the top, please, because y'all remember when I told y'all I had a struggle?
She-Hulk. Whatever. So I'm gonna just say while she over there trying to figure out a cork. So, I guess I was supposed to clink and cheers to that. God.
Oh, I can clink. Oh, and it was the double clink. I don't know what it is about this glass. It likes to double clink. Cheers to that. Okay.
So this says a scintillating sweet wine created from superior grapes with crisp citrus notes and hints of sweet apple. You know what? I think the sweet apple is what saved this because I don't really chase citrus like that. Shoe Crazy is in here, y'all. Like I'm understanding why they're sold out. I'm understanding. I'm understanding. I'm late to the party, but I'm here now. And I understand.
Tardy for the party.
Extremely tardy, like wholly not on time, completely on CPT. I'm gonna show up when I get there. It starts at 5. I'll be there at 8. I'm that late, but this was really good. It is a sweet white. It does have the citrus, which I normally don't like, but I did in this one. I'm not sure what blend this is because I'm pretty sure this is not one pure grape, but it works for me. So I'm actually going to give this. I'm gonna give this a 4. I'm gonna round up. I was gonna give it 3.75, but I'll give it a 4. Yeah, this was good. I had 2 glasses, so that's why I get the 4. Because if I really am like, you get 1.
For the red one,
the Mélange.
Yeah, for that, I am going to give this a 3.75. I think I'm finding out that I don't prefer red blends. Like I'd rather it just be
a straight red,
like Cabernet. Yeah, a Merlot, like be that great. The blending, I think it kind of cancels itself out. But that's just in general red blends. This red blend, though, I didn't finish my glass, but I feel like I did finish my glass because I feel like this is a dinner wine. This is your steak, chicken breast dinner wine. So where it was good, it's not your sit down, talk, and conversate wine.
Yeah, I got you.
But this with a nice like dinner, I feel would be like, oh, perfect. Like it would. I feel that's why I gave it 3.75 because I couldn't give it the 4 because I felt like I should be eating with this. It was smooth. I've had some red blends that have that bite in the back. It doesn't have that. It does have the tartness that hits the middle of your tongue, but that's it. Once it get past the middle, it's smooth. It's not. It's none of that. But I can appreciate this red. Really, I truly do. I just feel like I really should be eating. Like, really should be eating with this. Like,
no, that's why this would get a 3.75. Because of the citrus. I agree. Like, there's something. I need to eat some. I don't know. And I'm really not a citrus person. That's why this is, if I didn't, I was going to round up. But if we're doing 3.75s, if we can actually do the 0.25s, then I'm going to give it a 3.75.
That's what you said it. So, and yes, I said it. That's what you said it. So, I mean, I'm fine with that.
I mean, I feel like not everything, but I'm getting more the
certain things.
Yeah, like some stuff.
Yeah, because I could give this a 3.5. Like that would just
it's better than a 3.5.
Yeah, it's way better than that. And the only reason why this doesn't get a 4 is because I literally feel like this is a dinner wine to me.
Most reds are dinner wines though.
Yeah. So, and it's a good dinner wine though. Like it's like, if let's say you want a romantic date, like, all right, guys, y'all cook for your girl. You kick some lamb chops, you did a
steak. Fellas, are y'all listening? Because y'all are listening. Y'all are wine.
Like you get that and you want like, oh, I want to serve a wine. and you know that she does drink red, because I know it's safe to go with white, because whites tend to be sweeter. But if you know she does like a red, this is a great red blend to get for that date night. Also, because of the brand, and it's like woman geared with the shoe on it, I'm just giving you a couple, nudges, what I'm saying, help you out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's a conversation piece too. So,
Fellas, we here to help y'all because y'all listen.
just trying to help you.
Y'all listen to us.
We're just trying to help you be romantical and stuff. So yes, 3.75. This is a great dinner wine. If you're doing this for a dinner wine, it's 4. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the another wonderful conclusion of a little something to whine about. With your hostesses of the mostesses, Ty Michelle
and Siobhan Camille. I gotta find a good hand.
Uh,
My nails are breaking, and my nail tech is out of the country right now for the next month.
Oh, I know that struggle. Guys, be sure to join us each and every Wednesday at noon for a brand new episode. Of course, you'll get more laughs, more fun, and more wine, and more whining. So just join us every week. We are live the last Saturday of each month at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to see us live, don't grab that couch. It's on a Saturday. It's the weekend. Grab a seat on the couch. Grab your mate. Grab your best friends. Come sit down on the couch. Grab your wines while we do our wine tasting, where we laugh, answer random questions, and we rate wines, of course. So be sure to join us then. And remember, as always,
there's nothing wrong with a little wine or a little.
All right, y'all. Toodles.
Thank you for whining with us on this episode of A Little Something to Whine About. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to join us live the last Saturday of every month on YouTube or Instagram. And we'll see you next Wednesday for more fun, more laughs, and of course, more wine.